What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content that we have coming out. Now, with this video, we are going to be jumping into Justice League Incarnate, issue number 1. And this story will be following the events that transpired in Infinite Frontier. And if you were unable to keep up with Infinite Frontier, don't worry, I got you covered. Go check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It's going to get you completely caught up on everything that happened inside the Infinite Frontier. And so with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this limited series issue number 1, we are picking up on Earth 8. We are picking up in New York City, and we are picking up with the Retaliators. Now, we have American Crusader, we have Silver Eagle, we got the entirety of the Retaliators here. And as they do their regular banter, as they have some regular conversation, the conversation brings up Machine Head. Now, we saw Machine Head, he ended up betraying Justice League Incarnate. He was working for Psycho Pirate and Darkseid the entire time. Machine Head's one goal is to cut off Earth 8 from the rest of the multiverse, to not become part of this omniverse, to be left alone by themselves and not have to worry about anything. Now, the Retaliators, they have heard no word from Machine Head, and so this obviously is beginning to worry them. But this is where we see the arrival of Dr. Multiverse. Now, as it stands, there's not too much known about Dr. Multiverse. But as we continue through this comic, we're really going to learn who she is, what kind of power set she has, and how she's going to play a part in this entire story moving forward. But she returns with the head of Machine Head, because her multi-vision saw his body vibrating between this world and the next, trying to sync with what remained of him. The only thing she found was his head. And this is just one of the abilities she has, because ever since she came in contact with some strange energies out in space, she says that she has been cursed with the powers of the multiverse ever since. And with this gift, she is able to see that something is wrong with the multiverse, believing that the multiverse is sick. And up in the sky, there is a giant flash of light, saying that the rest of them, they can put their head in the sand if they would like to. But that light, that kind of power, that is a beacon. And with that beacon, we see the arrival of Tartarus and the entirety of his army. And as they descend down on the Retaliators, this battle is just beginning. But that is what takes us to Earth Zero at Beijing, picking up with Avery Ho, aka The Flash. And right now, she is going against one of her villains known as Replicate. Now, being the Flash of Beijing, we don't really get to hear a lot from Avery. And to be completely honest, she doesn't even necessarily like being called the Flash. And it's because she doesn't feel like she lives up to the mantle of who Barry Allen is. But as we see her doing her battle with her rogue up on a rooftop, we have President Superman and we have Thomas Wayne, aka Batman. And the two of them right now, they are currently evaluating her. President Superman believing that this is the Flash that they are going to need. Now, of course, Thomas, he's a little bit concerned about this, because at the end of the day, she is very young, and her fighting skills are minimal at best. But at the end of the day, they cannot do this without a Flash. And with Avery finishing up her fight, we see President Superman, we see Batman come down and offer her a job with Justice League Incarnate. Now, President Superman, he does the introductions, lets them know that he is from Earth 23, Batman, Thomas Wayne being from an Earth that is unknown, and that's simply because Flashpoint does not exist anymore. And without wasting any time, we see Avery definitely agree to this, go through the boom tube, didn't listen to all of the instructions, but she did hear Barry Allen. Inside the House of Heroes, we see her introduced to the entirety of the team, having Aquawoman, Captain Carrot, Thunderer, and Dino Cop. And of course, we can't forget Mary Marvel. But this is where she gets a complete rundown of why she is here, what she is needed for, and what Justice League Incarnate are actually doing. And Dino Cop breaks it down for us, letting us know that the multiverse has a problem, which means Justice League Incarnate also has a problem. Darkseid, the god of everything bad, manipulated Barry Allen to crack the multiverse itself. And that is so Darkseid can steal the power on the other side, the power known as the darkness. Barry's speed forced him to be trapped on the other side of this crack. And so with them needing to rescue Barry Allen and be able to stop Darkseid and all of his family from getting their hands on unimaginable power by sealing that crack. Now, the House of Heroes, it is anchored in a fixed point in a place called the Bleed. And this is the lifeblood of the multiverse. From here, they can go anywhere instantly. The only issue is they have no idea where this crack is. And that is where Avery comes in. Now, at first, Avery's like, listen, you guys have the wrong Flash. Maybe you need to go get Jay. Maybe you need to go get Wally. Go get somebody that has more experience than I do. But Barry Allen left very specific instructions that if he were ever to need replacing in Justice League Incarnate, it were to be Avery. Now, we could go over the multitude of reasons he has for this, being that Wally West is taking care of Central City, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, Barry Allen chose Avery to take his spot. Now, based on Barry Allen's designs, they built a quantum treadmill. And using Avery's super speed, this device is going to help them narrow down the location of this crack. This will allow the Harbinger AI to be able to pinpoint the location on what Earth this crack is anchored to. And so the only thing she needs to do is run as fast as she can and think about Barry Allen. This will help anchor and find the planet that this crack is in. Now, what Justice League Incarnate has not been privy to is the information of what happened to Barry Allen. And that's because where Barry Allen landed, he ended up running into Pariah. And ever since then, we have not seen Barry Allen in any comic. And so with Avery running as fast as she possibly can, the location is pinpointed and they are brought to the Earth where the crack is at. That Earth just so happens to be Earth 8. But upon arriving here at Earth 8, things are in a very dire situation. And that is because Tartarus has made his attack on this planet. Him sensing the crack, having a feel for this power, he wants it. He hungers for it, and he has come to take it. And as Justice League Incarnate makes their arrival, they see American Crusader, they see Silver Eagle, they see all of these guys are just completely torn, they are beaten, they have been taken down by Tartarus. And Silver Eagle lets them know this is exactly why they made that deal with Psycho Pirate. Now, Justice League Incarnate, they didn't know this yet, but the Retaliators, they all took a vote. And they voted to work with Psycho Pirate, work with Darkseid, and tried to shut off their planet from the rest of the multiverse. Being absolutely done with all of these multiversal attacks and everything coming from the multiverse, they wanted to be sealed off from everyone else. With the Retaliators dying all around them, we see Tartarus, he begins to gather some kind of energy, appearing to come from the crack in the multiverse. And with him doing this, we see Dr. Multiverse come in, with Justice League Incarnate jumping into action, taking on all of the minions. With Dr. Multiverse in the hands of Tartarus, a boom tube opens up, and we have the arrival of Darkseid. And Darkseid, he has come here all by himself, only accompanied by his grandfather box. And Tartarus, seeing Darkseid, has to ask the question, what brings you here? Why would you ever break our treaty? The one where it says, you will stay out of my way, I will stay out of yours. But he lets him know that the Darkseid he speaks of is a lesser Darkseid, a mere piece of the Godhead that has long since been reborn. And so, he honors no treaties, and he takes whatever he wants. telling him to surrender the hold that he has on the crack in the multiverse, something that he could not possibly ever comprehend. And as this conversation is going on, Dr. Multiverse is watching him, because one thing that's unique about Dr. Multiverse is that she can see not only that individual, but every iteration of that individual throughout the multiverse. But when she looks at Darkseid, she only sees one, much like herself, having no other versions of himself across the multiverse. Not only that, it's as if all of the evil in all of the universe has consolidated into one singular point, that point being Darkseid. Now Darkseid continues on, letting Tartarus know that his ignorance is very bliss, that he could not begin to comprehend the darkness, how to wield this darkness, how to use this power. Now Tartarus at first suggests maybe we can have a new treaty, maybe we can find a new deal here. Darkseid not wanting to do that, using his beams and striking Tartarus in the chest. But the truth of the matter is Tartarus, he was hoping for war today, with his armor being forged from the melted ore of the 8 rings of the ancient spectrum. This is not the Tartarus that Darkseid once fought, and now the multiverse will finally know which one of them is greater. And as these two titans clash together, the grandfather box comes for Dr. Multiverse, with President Superman sweeping in to save the day. As she looks at President Superman, she sees all the versions, all the iterations of him throughout the multiverse, like dozens of stars piercing through the veil of darkness. And as she sees the rest of Justice League Incarnate, they are like solar systems around all of those stars. Now, she really wants to know who the heck these guys are, but right now they have more pressing priorities. Now, with everything going on, they don't really have time to seal the crack in the multiverse. Even if they knew how, they don't right now. But what they can do is Dr. Multiverse, she believes that she can unanchor the crack from this planet and send it to another one. And so as Batman and Superman, they head off to take on the grandfather box to keep it busy while both Tartarus and Darkseid are fighting one another. We have Dr. Multiverse and Avery, aka the Flash, using her as a vibrational source. And with their powers combined, it will unanchor the crack in the multiverse. It will unanchor it from Earth 8 and send it to another one. And so while they are working on doing that, we see Darkseid, he gets Tartarus in a headlock, grabbing a hold of his neck. We see him completely break it, and Darkseid is victorious. But with his fight with Tartarus, it took too long, and it gave Dr. Multiverse the opportunity to unanchor this crack. With the crack being unanchored, Darkseid opens up a boom tube, not even wanting to worry about fighting Justice League Incarnate, knowing that he could just stomp their butts if he wanted to. The reality is that they only slowed the inevitable, that he is going to go back, his systems are going to triangulate exactly where this is, and while they celebrate this small victory, he will more than likely already be on the Earth where this crack has formed, where it has anchored itself to. And so as Darkseid makes his exit, we see Dr. Multiverse use her abilities to hold the tube open, being able to hold it only just for a small amount of time. Justice League Incarnate not sure if they want to follow it, not even sure where this goes. They all make the decision to go in. And so one by one, our heroes, they jump into the portal, with Avery being the last one, completely unsure of herself, because at the end of the day, she's not Barry Allen, she's not Wally West, she is not Jay Garrick, she is Avery Ho, a Flash with very little reputation. And we see Dr. Multiverse give a great pep talk to Avery, letting her know that she is a hero, that she is standing here today to fight against all of the evil in the universe. Sitting here still, going against Darkseid. Lesser people would turn around, they would go home and call it a day. The fact that you are sitting here still contemplating going against one of the very biggest evils that the multiverse has ever seen, shows enough about your character that you have what it takes. And so grabbing hold of her hand, Dr. Multiverse and Avery, they go through the portal. Now picking up at the House of Heroes, Dino Cop has lost all contact with them, having no triangulation of where they might be in the multiverse. But that is the least of their concerns because a boom tube opens up, and this is where they have a god walk into the room. The one known as Orion, the son of Darkseid. And he is letting them know that the only way to defeat Darkseid is to make the multiverse bleed, letting them all know that he is taking full command of this operation and that they are going to do what needs to be done to save the multiverse. Now Mary Marvel lets him know that that sounds great, that's all grand, but at the end of the day, you didn't come alone. And this is where we see the army of Darkseid descending upon the House of Heroes. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. For me, I absolutely love this story. I think it's a lot of fun. I love having the Justice League Incarnate, who is a Justice League that is working on the multiversal aspect of things, jumping from planet to planet, trying to stop Darkseid and everything that he has been doing. Now, at this point, they didn't even know where Darkseid was, but with the crack in the multiverse, it was inevitable for him to show up. What they did not expect was Tartarus and all of his forces showing up trying to take this power for themselves. And Barry Allen's fate, it still remains completely unknown. Because last we saw him, he was with Pariah, and Pariah did something, and Barry Allen was shot back to what looks like old day comics. And he's back with his family, Wally West, Jay Garrick, like everyone is there. And so it begs the question, where the heck is Barry Allen? What is going on with Pariah? And if Pariah sent him somewhere, where did he send him? And then we have Dr. Multiverse, a brand new character coming in and seeming to have some really OP abilities. You know, obviously having flight, obviously being able to see different versions of people throughout the multiverse, essentially having the view of a multiversal view, being able to see things that others can't inside of their universe. And though she doesn't necessarily seem to be some kind of heavy hitter, at the end of the day, she is quite powerful. And the only question we have left is where the crack now is anchored. What Earth are we going to go to? What are we going to see? I cannot wait to explore the multiverse. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you have not yet, do me a favor, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell, make sure you're not missing any of the awesome content we have coming out, and until the next breakdown,